Welcome to the Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast, the show for real estate couples about how to close more deals in the bedroom. My name is Bill Jameson.
And I'm Nancy Jameson.
And each week we deep dive into juicy, intentional, sexy conversations, sharing with you what it takes to create balance in your intimate relationships and your real estate business. Thank you so much for being here. Shall we begin?
Hey, baby.
Cheerio.
Oh, cheerio.
Baby.
We're British. We're British today.
We're British.
Do you think we're going to get any flack for this accent?
It'll take us off the air for this accent.
Only if you see my face that goes with it.
Crumpets and tea.
Oh, gosh. Harry Potter.
Okay.
It's awful.
Let's cut it off right there.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
Hi.
I'm Bill.
I am Nancy.
And this really is
The Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast. It's the show that definitely demonstrates the possibility of a massively successful balance in your intimate relationships with your ridiculously successful real estate business. So you are here.
Yes, we're here to teach you how to turn your breakdowns into breakthroughs.
Mm-hmm. And share with you really bad accents.
Yeah, that too. Yes.
But before we get started, we definitely want to share with you just a little inside behind the scenes scoop as to what's going on here. And we talked a little bit about this in last week's show as well. And so Bill and I cover the cost of the podcast. And, we love it. We absolutely love it. It's an amazing way to leverage our coaching and leverage our knowledge and our expertise and all of those things. And yet, we bear the cost of the time and the experience and our growth and sharing with you all of those things and advertising and equipment and all of that stuff. But again, we love it. And yet at the same time, we've received multiple requests to provide you, the listener, with a way to financially support the podcast through donations or whatever. You know that YouTube has that little bell now that says applaud. So we are, again, this is behind the scenes scoop. We are in the process of getting on YouTube, but back to this donation thing. So after a lot of discussion back and forth, Bill and I have decided to accept what the universe is sharing with us. And so if you like what you hear and you're inspired to bless us with your donations to support the show, we are definitely clear on the fact that we are multipliers. And we promise that we give and we'll share more and more and more with you every episode and listen to your feedback. And again, just keep on sharing because our experience is definitely something to share. And we just really appreciate you supporting the show. So we've set up a Venmo. The handle is @Jam Coaching. So the @ symbol, JAM as in Michael, Coaching, COACHING. So thank you very much for that.
Nice. Awesome. And as we begin every show, we always talk about a little bit of magic here that has happened or we've spotted in our lives. We've drawn into our lives. We've given attention to magic
Created.
being that thing, that stuff that where you are influencing self, others, or life in an empowering way.
Mm-hmm. So where have you seen magic? Where have you created magic? Where have you influenced magic over the last week or so, babe?
So I co-lead a small group, small accountability group. We use a couple of books for this accountability, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, surprise.
Yeah.
And then we also use another book called Power versus Force. And I co-lead the group, and the other leader was out of town last week, which left me solely in charge of leading the troops. And it was
a big responsibility.
Yeah, it was great. Had a lot of fun, and there are a couple pieces of magic. Sometimes these meetings run really long, and this one actually ran really short. But yet we still got pretty deep on it, at the same time. And I think really the highlight for the night was, we were talking about things that can expand consciousness and open up spirit and create some release or surrender in your life. And then we boiled that down to doing a juice cleanse. And,
Sweet.
you know, we had talked about the one you had done that was over 30 days. And,
Yeah, it was 32 days.
And another member years ago had done one for 33 days. And
oh, he has me beat by a day?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I got to do another one now.
and half the group is committed to doing a juice cleanse for a week at the end of the month.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's
that
pretty
is super cool.
So I
may
get the
hop on
feeling
that.
whether I was thinking either hopping on it, but I know definitely we won't be we'll all be juicing together that night instead of eating or snacking.
That's a great idea.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
By the way, short. You know, when Bill is referring to a short meeting, his meeting was still 5 hours long.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
yes.
it was awesome.
And I'm complete.
Very cool. Okay, cool. So my magic is that my gorgeous, beautiful sister, Allison, is on her first solo vacation that she has ever
Allie.
taken. And so you inspired her because back in November, you decided to take a solo vacation, your first solo vacation ever, to Miami. And so she listened to our episode. She obviously talked with you and me, and you know, how did you feel about it? How did I feel about it? What was the impact of it? And all of those things. And so we gifted her a Southwest gift card for her birthday. And so she took her first solo vacation. She's on it now.
Yeah.
So
cool, right?
it's so beautiful. And you know, of course, all the things leading up to the vacation and making sure everything's taken care of, and, you know, work and my house and groceries and my husband and my dog and like all of those things. So it was really cool for her to work through that process and trust herself and increase her faith around that all is well. And she's having an extraordinary time. So she sent us a couple pictures of sunrises and sunsets. And I know that she was on a hike yesterday out in the desert. So I'm excited to see pictures about that. And she's booked a massage and she's going hand gliding. And, you know, I don't know if she's going to come back.
Has she seen any rattlesnakes yet?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, cool.
Nope. No, but anywho, so kudos to you, Allie. You're it's a huge inspiration, and I just really appreciate you trusting yourself and trusting us because all is well. You know, all is well, and I appreciate you really depositing in yourself. So thank you for that.
Nice.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It's great magic for sure.
Awesome. Okay, so what are we talking about today, my babes?
We are talking about being an entrepreneur, or possibly being a victim to being an entrepreneur, and what it looks like to kind of turn that around, turn that frown upside down.
All right. Well, before you get in it, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is it okay, or do you think it's acceptable to not be an entrepreneur?
I think it's okay to be whatever you want to be. I mean, if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, your only responsibility for yourself really is to find a career path that is going to be that you're going to be satisfied with.
Yeah, fulfilling, satisfied. You're still contributing to yourself. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So if you start something new, or if you feel like you have the energy and to join something that's existing or help its growth, that's cool. Or, you know, if you jump in and to preserve something else of value for a long time that's already existing, do that too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I definitely subscribe to that because, you know, I mean, entrepreneurship isn't for everyone, just like being in corporate environment isn't for everyone.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So.
You know, you can be within real estate or mortgages or any of it, you can be an entrepreneur to the point where, you have you're a solo agent business, or maybe you're running a small team, or, you know, you could be more of an employee type, you know, where you're doing admin or, or managerial stuff, or,
yeah.
You know,
that may be your lane. You may be like the best manager or the best admin out there.
Right. So whatever it is, and if it's good for you, it's great for us. So that's awesome.
Awesome. Okay, cool. All right.
So, but then, you know, the fact is that's probably why you haven't, I mean, that's not why you're here though.
Oh, like listening to the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, you are an entrepreneur and actually may have come from a family. I mean, my experience is like, I'm from a family of entrepreneurs, right? And I know that you have entrepreneurs in your family as well,
Yep.
you know, and so you're from that. So there may be a little bit of mindset around that, you know, and it's ultimately you've decided that being in business for yourself is really the path for you to be in control of, you know, your time and your resources and things like that. And, you know, entrepreneurs are survivors, right?
Yep.
I mean, survivors, thrivers, they thrive with adversity and, they're learning based and self-motivated, And so I guess the question is to those that are listening, does any of this sound like you?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely resonates with me. I think entrepreneurs also have the ability to take or see like a higher level of calculated risk that they're willing to assume. Like that saying that you absolutely love, you got to risk it to get the biscuit.
Oh, the worst and the best. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. So overall, the intention of this episode is to support you in identifying what may be a victim mindset or a victim belief and, around being an entrepreneur, and then reverse those and give you beliefs or code to replace the victim mentality with, so that you have a more powerful, stronger, wiser entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
Does that sound great?
Yes, it sounds amazing. Thank you for putting that out there. So we like to refer to, some businesses, a lot of businesses, like, being a lifestyle entrepreneur. I mean, it's like you're taking on this business knowing that it's going to be part of who you are and what you're doing. And you and I have worked for years to help create some of that separation, where, we don't take phone calls after a certain time at night, and we don't answer emails after a certain, so we have boundaries and stuff. But at the end of the day, we're at a dinner party. We're going to be talking about real estate.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the weekend, we've probably taken out a buyer or two, and during the week, we've probably taken off a day during the week because it's not on the weekend. Like it's a lifestyle. And a lifestyle entrepreneur focuses more on the life rewards and all the things around it, and hopefully enjoying what they've created, and has a passion for what they're doing.
Yep.
And lifestyle entrepreneurs really enjoy that startup lifestyle, whatever that looks like.
Well, it's very exciting. And then I guess the other thing that comes to mind as you're talking about this is that it's not money driven.
Right.
It's not,
Thank you. It's a great point.
It's not money driven.
Right.
It's about
money's a byproduct.
Exactly. It's like, for us with the real estate, and frankly, even the coaching or the podcast, it's we're the conduit. So we're the conduit to, their next dream home, or we're the conduit to their juicy, sexy, intimate relationship, because they're in real estate and, in that partnership together in real estate. And so now they're listening or they're coaching with us because they want that intimacy in their relationship as well. Or, money's the byproduct. I like how you said that. So cool.
So the question is,
yes,
are you in victim mode?
Well, what does being a victim mean? Because that may be something that's a new concept for a lot of people. I mean, I feel like that word gets thrown around a lot. And, certainly people who are called a victim don't necessarily like being called a victim.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, really, at the end of the day, victim means that you are at cause to everything that is external to you.
Okay.
Like a person who has been, hurt, or you've been hurt by somebody else or taken advantage of by somebody else.
So victimized.
And yes.
So then therefore you're taking on the characteristics of being a victim. So your energy may be lower, you may be a little pouty, you may sound like, oh, the economy sucks, or the government did this to me, or Trump did this, or Biden did that, or the real estate market is, blah, 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 blah,
right.
COVID,
right.
And it's good. You got some?
No, it's all that stuff. I don't have the right technology. I don't have the right car. I don't live in the right location. Whatever it is, like you're a victim to something.
I'm renting. I'm not owning.
Right.
My family.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we laugh and we laugh because we're kind of poking fun at this, and yet this is a very real mindset. We had an episode on abundance mentality and moving from scarcity mentality to abundance mentality. Probably, I don't know, I would say it's like 1 through 20, first through 20 episodes, if you had to go look for it. I can't remember the exact number off of the top of my head. And yet victim mentality is right there with scarcity mentality.
Absolutely.
So if you feel, like
it's like the contrast, right?
To abundance mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're like at cause, like something's happening to you externally.
Mm-hmm.
So what else may it sound like? So if I have, here's where we get into, like, if I have this belief, entrepreneurs replace it with this belief.
Okay,
so
cool.
What's the next one?
When things don't work, I secretly believe I'm at cause. Victims act as though each business setback is a catastrophe. Right?
Like it's like the end of the world. Like
it's
like
true.
Flames burning, hair on fire,
And create even more stress for themselves. So they feel, more importance and in the ego when relating problems rather than successes. Because the ego makes them right.
Yeah. Well, and it's intoxicating, sometimes being in that ego space, and it's the drama of it all. I remember that there was this one agent who was always in the office, because we were in the office, obviously, when we were in the office, and she would come out of her office and kind of go like, and then like strut down the hall, walking really hard in her heels, and then she would go get a piece of candy.
That's hysterical, and I know exactly who you're talking about.
And then she would go back to her office.
Yes.
And then be like, okay, like time to like, she was like psyching herself up to get back on the phone or whatever like that. But it's the approach,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the
approach, the mindset. Because all we're talking about today is mindset, really. So then entrepreneurs replace that belief with what, babe?
Well, bad things happen. They can brush it off. It's just another challenge to overcome. And it's like how we talk to the kids. Just let water roll off the dolphin's back,
right,
or the turtle shell back, depending on which kid you're talking to.
Yeah.
And, in fact, you really look forward to the challenge, and you feel satisfaction and aliveness and passion from declaring the success of it. Like, okay, so this happened and this is what I turned it into. So it's totally lemons into lemonade situation.
Yeah. There's an opportunity to rep faith and know that all is well, in that in most of these situations. So
yeah, for sure.
Cool. Let's see. Victim belief. I second guess every decision I make. So this impacts mood, behavior, and happiness.
For sure.
Right? It's likely to cause an intense or, again, victim mentality, which leads to additional, less than powerful decisions, confirming that you are indeed a victim.
Yeah, it's that whole thing. It's just momentum. There's the momentum, and there's the roller coaster.
Yeah, and that's that whole second guessing thing. Oh, I can't do right, or I'm never right, or whatever. Just not having confidence in what you're doing, or not ready to fail forward. And okay, use your phrase, risk it to get the biscuit, and because you're not going to get the biscuit every time. You're just not, and you can follow the book or the blueprint or whatever. And, you still got to figure some stuff out for yourself. And the only way you're going to do that is by, putting yourself out there.
Yeah. It's that calculated risk. Wasn't it Henry Ford that said, either you do or you don't do, but either way you're right? What was that?
I thought that was Yoda.
No, that's do or not do. There is no try.
Oh yeah.
What is that? What did he say? That was Henry
do or
Ford.
do not. Yeah, I think it was do or do not.
Either
way you're right, and I think that is Henry Ford.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. And so again, entrepreneurs will replace this belief of second guessing themselves with that they live in the present, and they rarely dwell on mistakes of the past, back to what you were just saying about failing forward. Yeah. And then again, they have faith in themselves and all is well, I'm perfect, whole, and complete. And, again, it's not all rainbows and unicorns, yet as a state of being, this is where they are. They live in the present. It's not even necessarily the future or the past. It's they live in the present moment, and they're like, okay, cool. Is this choice making or getting me closer to my goal or not? And if it's not, then they don't make the choice.
Right.
So
cool.
Awesome.
I like that. And then the next one that I have down here is the victim belief. When others put me down, I'm wounded to the soul.
Yeah, wounded.
And that can be so crazy with,
Oof.
you know, buyers and sellers and, you know, the whole, you know, there's a lot of different personality types out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you just don't know what people are going to have or their baggage or what they're going to project, you know? So those negative comments from others can be devastating to the quote unquote victim.
Yeah. Or losing a multiple offer situation.
Yeah.
You know, when you feel that, and I'm air quoting here, the rejection of the offer, like there's all kinds of stuff. You know, what did I do wrong? Did I not, you know, was I not creative enough? Did I not give enough? And, you know, there's that second guessing. And then again, there's that non-acceptance, the rejection. So therefore I'm wounded.
Yes.
Negative. It's just, you know, it can be devastating. It could take them out. And I'm sure you guys have seen it. So we've seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the flip side of that, the other side of the coin is, you know, getting back to your center, right?
Yep.
Having that, you know, counter the negatives with positives.
Yep.
And, you know, and I know you've said it and I have too, you know, it sounds great just to talk about it on this podcast, and at the end of the day, this is another one of those opportunities where you have to put your foot out there and take a step and practice this, because it takes practice. You're not just going to wake up one morning and say, I'm going to turn all my negatives into a positive, and all the you know, the traffic lights are going to be green, and
the woo woo,
right, and I'm going to ride my unicorn to work.
Right.
Yeah. So it just doesn't work that way, guys. Yeah. You know, the fact is that you got to practice it.
Yep.
You got to practice that mentality. You got to practice, you know, being on top of your game at all times, or, you know, most of the time. Let's say most of the time, because you're not going to be on top of your game all the time. But the more you practice it, the more you're going to get back to your center. And you know, like you said, water off a dolphin's back. You're gonna keep it moving. You're gonna stay in your flow. So, and some great ways to, you know, to stay in your flow, you know, is to practice that, whether it's journaling or having an accountability partner. You can create standards or guidelines around negative or toxic people in your life, and decide who meets your standards that you're going to work with. You know, I think we had it. Here's another episode. We talked about ideal client.
Yeah, I think the episode title is "We're Not for Everyone." Like, we're not for everyone.
Yeah, and creating your ideal client. Yeah. You know,
whether it's, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
it's
whether
okay.
it's coaching or it's, I mean, clearly even the podcast, like, or it's real estate, like, we're not for everyone. And that's okay, because there's plenty to go around, and we can refer you to an amazing agent or a coach or another podcast.
Right. And everyone's not for us. So, you know, there's that law of context again. So cool. And then,
well, and then the other thing I do want to say before we move on is that you have the choice to, just like toxic people to hang out with or to do business with, you have the choice of where you put yourself. In other words, what environments are you hanging out in? What circumstances do you put yourself in? What relationships are you in? What conversations are you entertaining? And, you know, we have a culture at Jameson and Company where there is no gossiping.
Right.
We have empowering conversation. We have transparent, authentic, healthy conversation. However, we do not gossip. Like, if there's something that needs to be said and aired out, then we have a very open, authentic conversation about that. And so if you're having gossiping conversations on your team, it's usurping your power. And ultimately what that means is it's usurping the increase in your bank account. Or the synergy of your team, or the progress of your growth, or the relationships that you're having with people in and on your team. And if it's felt on your team, it's certainly being felt out in your relationships with your clients. So it's important that conversation, that ability to get back to your center and to align with the truth about the situation or the authenticity of the situation, that's an entrepreneurial belief and mindset. That's an abundance mentality. But when you start gossiping, then boop, it's out. Because they can't trust what you're going to say as the leader. They can't trust you.
Yep.
And if they can't trust you, then they're certainly not going to hold your standard of working with each other or with your clients.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that the essence of what you're saying is have authentic and transparent conversations with everyone, and
including yourself.
Yeah. And that'll help to eliminate some of that the talking behind the back.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's abundance.
Yeah.
That is the abundance.
Right.
Otherwise, it's known as being the victim to it. You're victim to the gossip. So, yeah. And another belief that entrepreneurs have about that specific one, and really overall, when I'm devastated by negative comments, entrepreneurs believe that they can express gratitude all the time about everything,
Right.
regardless of the circumstance, environment, conversation, person, whatever it is. They utilize gratitude as a tool.
Nice.
So,
Awesome. All right. So I know that there are probably some solutions we can share.
Yeah, always.
I think number one would be like, you're in charge. Like you are in charge of who you are, what you're saying, what you're doing, and how you're expressing yourself.
Yeah.
So,
be self-governing.
Yes, there you go. Because it's always an inside job. It's not external to you.
Yeah.
So
Be mature, be self-governing.
Yes, there you go. Number 2, make a plan and stick to the plan. Execute.
No, I was agreeing with you.
Okay, cool. Execute for 1 week or 2 weeks, 30 days, but start with, I like that. Start with like a short-term goal of executing the plan for a week, and then what does it look like and what does it feel like to execute it for 2 weeks and 30 days? And, if you fall off the plan, get back on. If you fall off the horse, get back on the horse, and if you've gone for 2 weeks and you fall off, get back and do it for a week again, and work back up to it. Because it's those little successes that are going to add up to the long-term successes.
Yep.
What else? What do you have? Maybe get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Oh, yes. I love that one. Thank you. So that is really around actually teaching yourself to enjoy the process. I mean, really like enjoy the process. Like I get, like there's a level. Okay. I'm going to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yet when you enjoy being uncomfortable, that's a whole nother level. Like, that saying that, and I'm not really fond of this saying, yet I have newfound respect for this saying. So the saying is, it's not the destination, it's the journey, or like the process of the journey. Like that's what I mean when I say enjoy the process. It's that you're enjoying the process of entrepreneurship, of growing, of the growing pains, of, learning new skills and being able to do all of the things and learning how to interview and delegate and grow and incite passion in others and create passion in yourself and motivate, and then obviously generate momentum, generate money, generate clients, and then here we are, generating intimate, juicy relationships, just like you did in your real estate business. I mean, that's fantastic. So enjoy the process.
Yes. And part of enjoying the process is coming to terms and enjoying failing forward. Surrendering to making mistakes.
For sure.
I mean, it's really the only way you're going to learn.
Absolutely. And it's the relationship to failing.
Right.
It's like I remember, oh my gosh, I'm going to blank on her name. Sarah Blakely, the woman who started Spanx. Her father used to teach her how to, like, their dinner conversation was like, okay, what did you fail at today? Like, talk to me about what you failed at today, because it gave her context around like the normalcy in failing. And she has a very powerful relationship to fail forward, such that it's not like indicative of, this sucks. It's like, oh no, wait a minute, let me get excited about this. Like if I'm failing, that means that I'm actually learning. So let me learn as fast as I can. And the only way to do that is to fail, honestly, and to keep it moving.
Fall on your face.
Yeah, and to keep it moving.
Yep. Awesome. And then get some accountability,
Yes.
Get some accountability. Get a coach or a mentor.
Yep.
Mentor. Be on a team or create a team.
Yep. And you may be on a team already, and there may be no accountability, and you can certainly go to your rainmaker or your team leader or your broker and say, look, like, let's figure out a way to create accountability. Anyone, you just take the responsibility for it.
Yes.
So,
and then lastly is, and we'll link it in our show notes, but get on the YDBG balance chart and add yourself. Add yourself. Sorry, that was a tongue twister. Get on the YDBG balance chart, app and add yourself. Yes, I got it.
Join the app. So when you go to your Play Store, you look under YDBG, and it's the balance chart app that we talk about all the time, that we use personally for accountability, that we use as a family as accountability. A lot of our all of our coaching clients are on it, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So just start depositing into yourself so that you can prove to yourself and have evidence to yourself that you keep your promises, that your self-esteem rises, your confidence rises, and all of that translates into a very powerful entrepreneurial mindset. And, there's no victims, no villains. It's a great way to keep yourself accountable.
All right. And so this last one, I would like all y'all to listen to this last section again, or pull out a pen and paper and write this down.
Yeah,
and figure out how to express gratitude in the form of affirmations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wrote down some of our favorite entrepreneurial affirmations for you, 10 of them, in fact. And these are super powerful. So
yeah, number 1 is actually one of my favorites. My work makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I create wonderful business opportunities every day.
Number 3, I love the freedom my business produces for me.
4, being my own boss is a responsibility that I handle with ease.
5, I attract my ideal clients with my energy.
Yes. Number 6, there are no limits to what I can achieve.
Number 7, I am driven by passion and purpose.
Number 8, money and wealth come easy to me. Yes.
Number 9, I am smart and successful.
Number 10, my clients love doing business with me.
Ooh.
Yes.
I love all of those. Awesome. So yes, do what you do. Write them down on your mirror, do affirmations in the car, write them down in your journal, whatever it takes. But those are great ones.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're feeling stuck.
Mm-hmm.
They're great all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And especially 2 or 3 more times when you're feeling stuck.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
There's beautiful. Awesome. Well, that's what I got for today's episode of Sex, Money, and Real Estate. Are you complete?
No, I am complete. I'm just going to say thank you so much for listening, and make sure that you subscribe to the podcast, leave us a 5-star review.
Yes.
And share it with one realtor, or in this case, entrepreneur, that needs to hear all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you'd like to connect with us, again, DM us on Instagram at Sex, Money, Real Estate. Of course, email us as you do at sexmoneyrealestate@gmail.com.
Yes.
And again, drop a donation if you feel inspired to at JM Coaching on Venmo. And we really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Love goes out. So we'll see you on the flip side.
Bye.
Wow, what a show. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're inspired, we ask that you share the podcast with one person and subscribe and follow the show. I'm Bill Jameson.
And I'm Nancy Jameson.
And remember, it's a great life.
Quick note about the Sex, Money, and Real Estate podcast. We are not doctors or licensed therapists. We are a joyous, abundant, and mature couple passionately sharing our story of growth around sex, money, and real estate. Our thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are our own, so please consult your doctor, healthcare provider, or your broker regarding any questions or issues you have related to your physical or mental health or specific state laws regarding your real estate business.